Maui wildfires officially started by Powerlines and poor forest management. Here's a clip.
Democrats in the media didn't waste much time to blame climate change for the horrific wildfire that happened in Maui.
If you look at it, I mean, everything from the fire,
Why is he
the tragic
here?
fire in Hawaii to Texas, which had something like 75 days in a row, over 95. I mean, it's completely, really amazing what's happened with climate change.
To stop these disasters from getting even worse.
Why is
we have
Fauci
to cut
there?
the carbon pollution that's driving the climate crisis.
We very, very much need to acknowledge that climate change is upon us. There are whole states, by the way, Jake, where you can't even use the words climate change because they still have a hit in the sand attitude. The Inflation Reduction Act
is that what it is?
some $300 billion to combat climate change and to move us away from continuing reliance on fossil fuels.
But now that narrative just got confronted by reality. Maui officials are publicly blaming Hawaii's largest electric utility company for the deadly wildfires, filing a lawsuit that claims it was their intentional and malicious mismanagement of power lines that allowed the flames to spark. Fox News Digital reaching out to 5 Democratic lawmakers who pushed the theory that man-made global warming was to blame, but only hearing back from one. All right, Judge, they have a lawsuit, and
Okay, what are you talking about?
The power company to deal
You
with.
said it was from climate change. What do you have to say now? No one even responds. I wonder what that one said.
Immediately, it's almost as if any issue can, if you don't want to deal with accountability, you just say climate change.
Yeah. Well, I think I've said this before. In the winter, it's all about COVID. In the summer, it's all about climate change. OK, and we just need to put more money into it. I heard today the president's going to ask for more money for COVID. Yep. I mean,
oh, wow.
So here we go again. But look,
here we go again.
If what Mazie, what Mazie, Senator Hirono says is true, $300 billion to fight climate change, how come this kind of thing is happening? All right, the Inflation Reduction Act was all about a giveaway to the green energy companies. In the end, it's not about global warming and it's not about climate change. It's about negligence, pure and simple. It's about ineptitude. It's about an area that didn't keep up with what was going on because they were trying to get to the green energy next step. And so they were too busy working on green energy. They ignored the obligation of the current situation. They didn't fill the water reservoir. OK, they didn't turn off the power lines when they got a warning that there would be high winds coming, and they failed to follow protocol to shut down the live power lines. And so what we've got now is the power lines are igniting dry grass and bush, and people died as a result of it. And they didn't even send off the sirens. They said the guy said he was worried that people would run toward the fires if they turned the sirens off.
Right.
You know, it's about an excuse. We live in a world that's all about excuses, that is blocked in terms of ideology. It's all tribalism. You're on this side or you're on this side. Facts are irrelevant.
And they had all of this money.
Yeah, it's interesting, but like the left and the media are doing that. Like people on the right, like we're just like, okay, facts are facts, you know?
Brian, that they were, well, they knew about the wildfire threat. They had money that was.
Left or right, I mean, people in the middle are the same way, but people on the left, they've lost it. You know, right? Everyone by the left is considered on the right now if you just use facts, right? But I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you're on the right if you follow facts. But the extreme left, they never follow facts, and I would categorize the media into the far left, right?
Used to deal with the wildfire threat, but instead they used it on green energy projects, and they didn't do anything to try to mitigate a problem like this one.
Right. And the guy that came out and said, we don't want to put the sirens out because we didn't want people running inland. I'm pretty sure adults know not to run into a fire.
Right.
All right. Number 2, he resigned the next day.
Right.
Nice. They call it non-native grass. They said that the grass is highly flammable. They said, you got to get it out. You got to thin it out. You got to get rid of it. They just left it. And the minute these power lines with the downslope of the wind, along with the hurricane, it was the perfect storm. It burned everything. But they said this grass is the thing that ignited the whole thing. So having said that, if you want to talk about climate change and you want to be effective, pick your spots. When you say it all the time, people turn off. And is there anybody less interesting to talk climate change than Anthony Fauci? Was Terry
Why is he
Bradshaw not
there? I
available?
know.
How did he pop up again on this?
No, how did you? What? If you want to ruin my night, see Anthony Fauci even speaking on anything.
Remember when he said, if you question
That's
me, you're
hilarious.
questioning the
Hilarious.
science. That was about COVID, but I guess it
Questioning the
could apply
science.
here.
I'm the
Here's what I-
science. If you question me, you're questioning the science. I'm the science. Now, what is wrong with that guy? He's a joke.
Look, I was stunned to see him there. I mean, my idea of a personal disaster would be if I found myself trapped on a desert island for the rest of my natural life with Dr. Anthony Fauci and Karine Jean-Pierre, both of them braying at me morning, noon, and night with their views on life. Look, I think that climate change is real. I believe that. I believe that man-made contributions are a significant factor in what is going on in the overheating of the planet. But I also think that there are two other massive problems in this debate: hysteria
Fauci.
and hypocrisy. And what those two things do, a little bit like they did with COVID, actually, is they discourage large swathes of the public from trusting people they should be trusting. We've got to have trust in public officials. You don't
We
get
shouldn't
it
be
by
trusting
blaming
them.
stuff like this on the wrong thing. You actually increase distrust in public officials.
Jesse Waters.
Tonight on Primetime, we have the researcher
Distrust
who
them.
authored
They're
the
incompetent.
initial report saying that man-made climate change was creating more ferocious and more deadly hurricanes. She's now come out and said she got her facts wrong, and there is no connection. And now nobody in the scientific community wants to talk to her. They're just running with the junk science. And sadly, this has been seized upon by these politicians. And when you blame it on climate change during a deadly tragedy, it just divides everybody, and everybody goes to their corners and they start fighting with each other when you should be trying to get to the bottom of this investigation that proves, as you said, this was negligent homicide on a mass murderous scale by Hawaii Electric.
No comment. That is the biggest story that nobody's talking about. The President of the United States did nothing, didn't comment for 3 days, and was asked about it, actually said no comment.
He doesn't
And he
want
got
an
a total pass on
investigation into this.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, they
Rather
certainly-
blame it on
Was
the
Hunter
Republicans.
involved?
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Over 100 people dead, and we still have
You know
more
what?
than...
It's complicated and there's no easy answer.
Hey, JP.
That's what you have to remember.
That is right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click
Very
here.
interesting. This stuff is crazy. Yeah, climate change, climate change, climate change. And then it just turns out, oh, is negligence part of climate change? Apparently so. It's like, what are they doing? Why would they not turn off the power lines during high winds? And I don't understand why, like, every single state, not literally, but like the leftist states, they're so bad at forest management. Have people go walk through the woods, and when you find some branches, go do a controlled fire, go have a fire or something, with a small fire and stuff, and burn it out. And it's like a campfire, roast some marshmallows or something, right? But they don't ever clean up their forests. So then it just it's like Tinder just throughout the whole forest. So anything happens, bam, the whole thing's on fire. Think of it this way, okay? You like I was just saying, you have a campfire to roast marshmallows, right? And you go break up twigs and you get branches. Obviously, you get dry branches, right? Imagine the whole forest is like that. And that's, if they don't clean it up, that's the case. The entire forest is like that. So then one spark of anything, and then bam, the whole thing goes up. That's like how every state is, too. I grew up in Michigan, and you can Google West Branch. I think it's like an hour north of, like, an hour and a half north of Saginaw. And that place is a mess. You go up there, and there's just branches everywhere. We go to try to make, like, trails with our quads, and there's just branches everywhere, just dead branches. If it wasn't so wet up there, it's like a wetland, there would be forest fires up there, too. So I guess, to be fair, why spend the money on it if you don't have to? But these really dry states, why aren't they doing this? They just want to blame it on climate change and just avoid any responsibility. This one, so they don't clean up the grass. They don't cut the grass out there, and it's by power lines, right? And they didn't turn them off. So the grass where there's power lines. It's not like it's in the middle of the forest. I mean, it's inhabited. It's either an inhabited town, or maybe they're talking about those, the giant, I don't know, you call them like high power lines on the giant towers and everything that go through the woods. But still, why are you not cutting that grass? No, they don't care. They know it's flammable, and they just do it anyway. Who knows why? They're just lazy, and they want to make excuses. It's messed up, and this is what it creates. They just don't want to. It's crazy. This is what they do. They're like, they want to avoid all responsibility. Climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change. It's not like, oh no, I didn't mess up. I did not turn on the power, right? I didn't not cut the grass, you know. No, climate change. It's an easy excuse. It's so easy for them. Instead of actually figuring out the facts, right, to actually save people's lives in the future, they just want to blame it on something else. It's really messed up. Like, I don't want to, if you came out and said, I'm sorry, we messed up. We messed up, yeah, and we'll do better in the future. But at least the investigation had uncovered this. The officials that the power company probably would have never said this. They would have just gone on, okay, just the official narrative, climate change. Yeah, just go with that. Yeah, what they're saying. Okay, yep, them. Okay, I'm the media. Yep. They said it's climate change, you know, good enough for me. No. You got to do an investigation. You got to figure it out, and you got to make sure this doesn't happen again. And really, them talking about this and unveiling this is great because now other states can learn from it. Other people can learn from it. It's crazy. Trump was talking about this years and years ago, forest management, and no one wants to listen to him. I never honestly heard about forest management until Trump brought it up. So good on him for that. Because I didn't know. I just thought, you know, wildfires, you just have wildfires. But then he starts talking about forest management and stuff. It's like, oh, okay. That's actually a really good point. You have like a tinderbox, like I was just talking about a few minutes ago. You have this huge tinderbox basically throughout the whole forest. Of course it's going to burn down. But you get live trees and stuff. No matter what happens, a live tree, it's wet and stuff. It doesn't want to burn. Anyone that's actually went camping and trying to break off a live tree, right, when it's kind of green in the middle, you're trying to break it apart. Yeah, it's terrible firewood. It doesn't want to burn. It just resists burning. But, you know, what do you go get? You get dry trees. You get dried little small sticks. That's all just out there. A huge, basically, bonfire pit. Yeah, of course this is going to happen. But again, they just want to be like, no, climate change. Climate change, don't look at the power lines. Don't look over there at the power lines that broke. No, and all the tinder under it, all that dry grass. No. Don't look over there. Look everywhere. Climate change, global climate, global warming. That's what they think. Yep, very interesting. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for daily news updates, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.